Welcome to Beyond Sunday, where we take the conversation a step further to grow in our love and understanding of Jesus.
Welcome to Beyond Sunday. I'm Steve. Across from me, as always, is Sarah.
Hey, everyone.
In our home office this time. We're in a very different location, so if things sound a little bit different, it's because we're using totally different recording equipment in a very different location.
And if you hear thumps in the background, just ignore it.
Now, let's be a little more specific. It's our children just running around. It's not like it's nothing nefarious going on or anything. You hear thumps. No. So, Sarah, the big to-do right now is it's a rap season. I forget what it's called on Apple Music, but everybody's getting their like reports on what they listen to.
The year-end
roundup of what is on Spotify. We use Spotify. Mm-hmm. You get your Spotify Wrapped.
Yes.
And so I'm very interested to find out what your Spotify Wrap says. I feel what the big thing has been your listening age.
Yeah. That's a fun new feature.
It is a fun new feature. I'm very curious because you want me to start with my listening age?
Yes.
I'll start with my listening age. I was shocked to find out that my listening age is 72.
72?
I'm 72 years old when it comes to listening. Apparently, I listen to a lot of oldies.
Okay.
Like the 60s is probably the most listened to. There's no way it's my most listened to era because I listen to so much 90s rock, like 90s and early 2000s rock. I don't understand how it's skewed that far, but I do listen to a lot of oldies in the car with the kids.
Yeah.
If we're on long driving trips, I'm not going to put on something like modern because, like, just questionable content sometimes. Not that we're listening to anything with like bad language in it or anything, but it's still like, oldies just always feel so much more gentle.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
cleaner. Yeah.
My listening age is definitely old. Apparently, I thought for sure I was going to say I was like 45.
Yeah,
somewhere in that
within the realm of what guys your age would listen to.
Sure, I thought so, but apparently way older. Sarah, what is your listening age? Is it older than me? What is it?
Are you ready?
Yes.
My listening age is 80.
No way! You're older than me.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Why did it say like so you're an older soul than I am?
I guess so. I said I really like the stuff from the 60s apparently. Like I do listen to a lot of oldies.
Yeah,
I listen to
if you're like working in the kitchen, you have usually like
I have like
you're gonna have the Four Tops are gonna be on in the background. We're gonna have like Temptations,
I do. That's
like all that good stuff.
Yeah, I like that fun music to just have on in the background. But it thinks I'm 80s.
Did any of that stuff? Here's my question, because not one of those artists appeared in my top 5 artists. So
maybe like the Beatles, which I'm not even necessarily
the Beatles were in your top 5.
Yes. Let me go find my top 5.
The Beatles appeared in my top 5 2 years ago. I was shocked by that. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but they were in my top 5.
Yeah, I have to.
They were my number 3 band one year. So
songs. Most of it was actually, and this is the strange thing. It's that I have 115 different like genres of music that I've
219 this year.
Whoa! All right. My top genres are Motown, worship, lullaby. I don't even know what
lullaby.
Christmas and musicals. I do listen to a lot of musicals.
Musicals are fun.
Yes.
I have musicals on every once in a while.
There it is, 80.
80.
So you should feel young next to me.
I know. Who knew that you were robbing the cradle? Who was your number one artist?
Podcasts are actually where all my time goes.
I guarantee you listen to way more podcasts than you do anything else.
I do, definitely. I'm like, am I 80 based on all the podcasts?
What was your top podcast?
Well, hang on. Let me go to. Just found my top artist. Charity Gale is actually my number one artist.
Charity Gale.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, and I will. So if I'm gonna host that Sunday, I like to put the worship set on repeat, just so it's just in my head, and you know what I mean.
She's so good though.
She is. I like Charity Gale. The Beatles is number 3.
That's impossible.
I don't even know how.
I think you listen to so much podcasts
Yes.
Like your music, I guarantee your minutes in music is super low.
Skewed. It is just, yeah, it's like, it probably is. Okay, so my top podcast.
I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
Yes.
Carrie Newhoff podcast?
Yes,
It has to be
def-
Carrie Newhoff leadership podcast.
Yes.
That's all you talk about.
He has like the best guests on, and they have the best conversations. So it's very interesting to listen to.
If Sarah's driving in the car, if we're like on a long road trip and
Yeah.
she's driving, she puts on Carrie Newhoff and it puts me to sleep like immediately.
I find
so
find
dry.
it fascinating. He's got a lot of he does get a lot of good guests on. I'm in the top 0.5% of listeners of
For
that
Carrie
podcast.
Newhoff?
Yes. And I just listen to like when they come out. You know what I mean? It's not like I listen
Yeah.
to them on repeat.
I wonder
It's
how
just
many
like,
monthly listeners he gets. Because I mean, you're up there then.
Yeah.
So I music is what I listen to more on Spotify. I do listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
but not nearly as much as I listen to music. I listen to so much music, and my number one artist, I'm in the 0.6% of all listeners in the world.
Is
Who is it?
yes.
It's Dave Matthews Band. It's
Yeah,
Dave Matthews
I
Band
know
for
it.
like the 40th year in a row. That's the only band
Yeah.
I apparently. Now my top 5 was pretty obvious if you know me at all. Like it was Dave Matthews Band, then
Okay.
Billy Joel.
Okay.
I'm a huge Joel fan.
Yes.
Then Crowder,
Okay.
number 3.
Oh,
That's it.
That's funny. We're old, babe.
We are old, but none of those artists in my like music wise that I listen to are guys like they're all guys in there like, well, I guess they're all in their 50s.
Yeah.
Well, how does that make me 72?
How am I 80?
I don't like these analytics.
Listen,
You listen to Carrie Newhoff.
I know. Listen, 3 of my top 5 podcasts are like leadership related, like church leadership specifically, like because I nerd out on that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I feel like Becoming Something should have brought me down. You know,
Yeah.
a
Becoming
decade or
Something was
two.
in my top 5 as
The
well.
Relevant podcast. That's like younger.
Relevant? Now,
audience.
Relevant's not young anymore. It's our age.
Younger. Yes. I feel like it should have marked me as like, oh, you're probably
Like 45.
not 45. You
That's
think
what Relevant podcast. It's a
No.
that's a Gen X podcast.
Okay. Well, listen, here's my point. I've always said I'm gonna just be the best old lady. Like that's what
You
I'm
are.
just gonna hit my stride. I'm going
We just
to
didn't know
just
it's happening right now.
yes. And Spotify's like you're already there.
You're you're mastering it. Wait, so who was the other artist that you had in your top 5? You said Charity Gale. No, you said the Beatles were number 3. Who was number 2?
Hang on. Probably more worship artists.
Good for you.
Let me top songs. Stand by Me by Benny King.
Darling, darling, stay.
Let me go back to my artists. I don't know which direction that was.
Towards the bottom, I'm
Oh,
sure.
was it?
It's probably one of the
That was
last
the
ones.
beginning. Oh, like the old lady I am, I got to scroll back down.
Oh,
through
I had to
and find it.
I had to update Sarah's app so she could get to her Wrapped. That's where we're at.
I am 80. I
Yeah,
think.
you are. Like I love you. Like I should have been like
Oh.
50 on my Spotify Wrapped.
There. Okay, Charity Gale was number 1, Bethel Music number 2, Beatles number 3, Passion number 4, and Hillsong is number 5.
I feel like we'll have to like blur out the fact that you listen to Bethel before we blur out the fact that I listen to Dave Matthews Band.
Let's not go down that road.
No, let's just talk about Revelation.
Yes.
No, let's get back into our Q&A series.
Yes.
So we are in week 2 of it's like part 2 of our series or our question grouping that we started last week that's all about like Bible study, understanding how to like read our Bible, what the Bible's all about, all that kind of stuff. And the first question we have this week has to do with the book of Revelation. And over the years, the 15 years that we've been doing youth ministry, I mean, we've been doing youth ministry longer than that, really. It's been almost 17 years plus that we've been doing youth ministry. This is the most consistent question that comes up
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to the Bible, because I feel like Revelation is the most mysterious of all the books, even though it's a book of prophecy, much like all the books of prophecy of the Old Testament. And if you really read Revelation and read like the second half of Daniel, they are so similar in how they read and everything. It's a book of prophecy, but it's a book of prophecy written by John, who is also the gospel writer. So it's the same John. So it's the John that had like a very close relationship with Jesus. And what we see in this is him receiving a word from the Holy Spirit about what is to come.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is, can you summarize and explain Revelation? Sure. Sure. I'll do my best. Here's the highlights. Jesus is the victorious king. So the big reminder in Revelation is, do not fear the imagery that comes about in the book of Revelation, because Jesus already holds the victory. Jesus has held the victory over death since his death on the cross and his resurrection. He holds the keys to victory. So that's all said and done. So anything that's like, oh, this is so scary. No, we're good. We're, as believers, we're good. I mean, we can get into all the debates of like, when do we go to heaven, and when, like, don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's my thing with Revelation. Don't worry about that the end is coming. Worry about the fact that there are people that don't know Jesus, and like, we don't know how much time we have on this earth. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. So the whole thing with Revelation is there's a big time spiritual battle going on that's already won by good, but there's going to be several battles back and forth that are like, there will be like some level of casualty, I guess, essentially is what it's saying. There's going to be difficulty. There's going to be tribulation, but take heart, because Christ has won. God's final judgment of evil will come. Like, that's part of what we're going to get to in the book of Revelation. It's a book of encouragement for those churches and the things that they need to do to shape up and fly right. Like, Jesus telling them, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. Not in a judgmental way, but in a way like, hey, I'm challenging you to be better. It also has the ultimate defeat of Satan within it, and what new heaven and new earth are going to come. We don't have like the specifics of what that's going to actually look like, and that's the thing you got to understand with a book of prophecy. Books of prophecy are imagery. A lot of it's figurative, and that's one of the things we have to understand about the Bible as a whole. Is like, the books are so broken up into, like, you have books of law, you have books of history, you have books of poetry, you have books of prophecy, you have books of wisdom. Like, so many different writing styles. You have to understand how to read them. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things with prophecy. People get so like literal with prophecy, and it's like, it's not necessarily going to literally look like that. But in a figurative sense, this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So when you hear of a beast with several heads and all these crowns, it's representative of great nations and all this kind of stuff, like nations that will like try to terrify other, like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what it's trying to get across. But the whole thing we have to remember about Revelation, and I would say Revelation reading is for people that are ready to go into like the deep end of it. I would not say read Revelation until you are a very mature Christian. If it does your heart good to know that, like, hey, victory is already taken care of, we don't have to worry about anything, like, don't put it high on your reading list. But if you've gone through the Bible several times and like you're kind of gaining understanding, like, it gives you more insight to who Jesus is and what he's going to do. But it is heavy, heavy, heavy on imagery. Mm-hmm. So don't get caught up in it, and don't people get so concerned sometimes about, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean?
That's exactly it. We want to figure our human brains, our finite human brains want to figure out the meaning behind all of the images, and we want a timeline, and we want answers, because that's just like, it's the natural course our brain takes of like, we want to be able to figure it out and know how it's all going to happen, because I think that just gives us this sense of like safety and security. And this isn't one of those things where you get to know it. Yep. Like, we're not supposed to know the day or the hour. We're not supposed to know that kind of thing. But the overall message is the whole point of it. So don't get caught up in what do you think that means this? Do you think that's like referring to what's happening right now? Like, we get so caught up in that we kind of lose the main point. And like you said, victory's already been won. We know how this ends, but we get caught up in timelines and details and the things that really aren't for us to know.
Yes. It's a battle for hearts. And that's the
Mhm.
big thing. And we have a responsibility in that battle for hearts. Like we have to be teaching the gospel to other people, living out the gospel to other people. And that's what it's really all about. It's like, hey, the church as a
Mhm.
whole needs to do better.
Mhm.
And that's our shared responsibility, each and every one of us. So nothing to fret about. It's also revelation, not because it's a final revelation. It's not revelations. There's no S because it's not multiple outcomes. There are multiple things coming. It's one thing coming. It's the revelation of Jesus.
And you're not saying that because somebody asked in that way.
No.
You're just, so many people refer to it as revelations.
It's just like it's just a minor annoyance more than anything. When people say revelations, what about revelations? It's revelation.
Yeah.
That's it. It's pure and simple. Hopefully that answers your question. It is an interesting book. But like I said, I don't spend a whole lot of time in Revelation. Revelation is a place that I visit. It's not a place that I make camp ever.
Yeah, makes sense.
So next question.
Okay.
Ready? This is a simple one. Thank you for asking this.
Yes.
How many books are in the Bible? Real easy. There is 66 books in the Bible in the official Christian canon. There's 66 books in the Bible.
Mhm.
That's 39 Old Testament and 27 New Testament. The only place it gets kind of goofy is like the Catholic Bible has the intertestamental books, which includes like First and Second Maccabees, a book called Tobit. There's another. I don't know. I could be wrong in saying Tabitha. There's a few books in there. They're called the Apocrypha, the intertestamental books that the Catholic canon holds on to, but like the mainstream Protestant evangelical denominations don't hold to. For this very reason, it adds nothing to the overarching story of Jesus coming. It's more or less, those intertestamental books are just things that happen in that 400-year period of silence on prophecy of the coming Messiah. So between, is it Malachi and like Matthew, like the Gospels, that's 400 years where like there's no new prophecy. Like the final prophecy has been spoken of the coming Messiah, and then there's like the 400 years of silence. That doesn't mean that God is not active, because that's what you read about, God's activity in those 400 years, but it doesn't add anything to it. So Maccabees, for example, is where we get the story of Hanukkah, essentially. If you're interested, this is just me being a nerd right now.
Extra biblical information.
Stuff that you don't really need to know. Funny story. Can I add a funny story to it? So I was doing a baccalaureate service years back at Union High School, and they brought in a bunch of different pastors. It was me, and there was a kid from the Catholic diocese, a couple other evangelical pastors. And the kid from the Catholic diocese is like super nervous. I was nervous too, because I think it was like one of my first baccalaureates I've ever done. And also we didn't know who was talking about what. And the kid from the Catholic diocese is like, oh man, I'm so nervous that somebody else is going to read what I brought before I get the chance to read it. And I'm like, well, I said, I'll put your mind at ease. What are you reading? And he's like, it's from Tobit. I'm like, yeah, you're fine, man. You're
we will not overlap.
Yeah, no, not one of us is going to overlap with you. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, you're good, bro. Yeah. And he read it, and everybody's like, what's Tobit?
Oh, but did he not realize like you guys are not working from the same?
No, that's kind of like the funny thing is like, being that he's Catholic, that's all he knows.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so like in his mind, like this is just a biblical resource,
right?
And it's like, no, man,
interesting.
You're never going to overlap with us.
Yeah.
So you're good when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But it was an interesting passage that he even read. I was like, that's the one. That's the one you brought to this. But anyway, nice kid. Very nice kid. All right. Okay. Sarah, you want to handle the next question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So this next question might be a little silly, but we are going to honor all the questions.
Honor
that came
every
through.
question.
Yes. So it says, how many pages are in the Bible? And the reason that's silly is that we have to ask the question back, well, which Bible are you using?
So many different Bibles.
Because depending on the version and the type of Bible, is this a study Bible? Is this a large print? Is this, you know what I mean? Like, so we definitely can't say, and unless we were to see your Bible, and then we could help you figure out how many pages are
Just
in it.
look.
Based on the page numbers, yes, but it's going to vary widely because, like I said, a study Bible. If it's a study Bible, that's going to be way more because there's a lot more additional information included in there. Or if it's just like a journaling Bible, like they make space for notes on the side, so it just takes a lot more pages. So I don't know. I mean, there's no official, this is how many pages are in the Bible. So it could be hundreds to thousands,
Yeah.
So
unless you're asking like what the original manuscripts were. And what you have to understand about the original manuscripts is that was like all written on like papyrus. And those were scrolls. And so there really wasn't pages. It was just these long papyrus scrolls that they would roll out and write more and all that kind of stuff. The Old Testament written completely in Hebrew, the New Testament written completely in Greek, because Greek was like the agreed upon language, like, across the lands. Basically, like how kind of English is kind of like the standard language across the world. Greek had become that in that part of the world. So the New Testament's written almost completely in Greek, even though the spoken language at that time would have been Aramaic in the region where all the biblical stories are happening. So there's a little bit of a bonus answer.
There you go.
If you want
scrolls, how many scrolls do you think?
66.
They each had
each book had its own scroll. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting when you get into like the original manuscripts and like the accuracy of the original manuscripts and everything. Like it's like 99.999% accurate from like the original manuscripts to what we have to this very day. And when they say that like 0.0001% difference, it's like commas and it's punctuation a lot of times, like stuff like that. Yeah. Nothing that actually changes the context. It honestly, when you do your research into the accuracy of the written word, it should give you all the more confidence that what we have is real and good.
For sure.
That's why I always enjoy listening to like theologians, like the archaeological evidence and the what's the other thing that I'm trying to say here? Like when you study cultures and stuff. Sociological, that kind of stuff. When you look at all the evidence that we have out there for this kind of stuff, it's really incredible. It's like, man, God did this airtight. To make it. One of the most interesting things that actually ever happened was in the 1950s. I think it was somewhere around the Dead Sea. There was these caverns that like were accidentally gone into. Like they'd been like kind of hidden away, and there was these like sealed like pots kind of thing that they would have like just kept documents and stuff in to keep them safe from, and they found some of the earliest written manuscripts of the Old Testament. I think it was like Isaiah or something along those lines, and so they translated it from that original Hebrew. And they found that the accuracy level of what we have currently is still was still extremely high. So this was stuff that was written probably BC, somewhere like, I forget, like it was 600 BC or something, like these manuscripts from the Old Testament. Really cool stuff. Yeah. Sorry.
You didn't know you would get all that out of asking
how many pages. Yeah, you ask a silly question, get a good answer. There you go.
Very detailed.
I'm sorry. Was that too much?
No, it's good. It's all good.
I love this kind of stuff. Bible knowledge. You want to do the next one? You can ask it.
Who wrote Hebrews?
We don't know.
Jeez, that was aggressive.
The debate is still out on who wrote Hebrews. I don't know if we'll ever know this side of heaven. There's a lot of debate on it. Like, I mean, who have you heard?
Who do you think wrote Hebrews?
Not Paul. No. I don't think it's Paul. I think
because of
it doesn't match his other
writings.
His other writings that we know for certain that we know for certain are his. Okay. When you look at like all of the Pauline epistles, that's the letters that he wrote in the New Testament, it doesn't really match his like writing style and his narrative, which means like, and I don't think it was Luke. Some people think it's Luke. Once again, it doesn't really match the Gospel of Luke or Acts. Like Luke is very detail oriented as a doctor, and it doesn't really match his writing style. And then you get into guys that we don't really know. Like then there's theologians that will say it's Apollos or Barnabas, and it's like, well, we have nothing to really biblically.
Yeah, like we don't know what their
writing style was. So we don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever, maybe someday somebody will find like a manuscript that's like, it's signed and it's like, you know, Steve. Not me, but like some Steve back then.
Yes.
No, I have no idea. But what we do know about it is that it is one of the most important books when it comes to understanding like the full context of the Bible as a whole. Like Hebrews is written to the Israelites, getting them to understand like, yes, this was great. This is why Jesus is better. So Hebrews is an incredible book. It's one that you should study over and over and over again. It kind of gets overlooked, I feel like sometimes, but it's like, I feel like it's sometimes the heart of the New Testament.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, have you studied Hebrews?
There's so much good stuff though. So it's hard to hold any one of them up, you know, in the New Testament. Like, I feel like you need all of that to make it.
Yeah. I tend to be so black and white that maybe
No, it is good. It is. Yes. Sometimes again, we don't always get to know. And I don't think the point is necessarily knowing the author, but the information, you know, so.
Yes. All right.
Next one. I want to learn more about Matthew in the Bible.
Good one.
Tell us about Matthew.
Well, who doesn't love the Gospel of Matthew? It's the first book of the New Testament. It really gives us our first glimpse of who Jesus is. And I think Matthew of the Synoptic Gospels is the most well-rounded written. Okay. Like Mark leaves out a lot of details, but it was written for a Roman audience. So it was for people that didn't really care about the whole like, why does it matter that he's like this Jewish Messiah? Luke is so detail oriented that you can get bogged down and be like, I don't understand how this all works together. But for the Jewish people, it was incredible. Matthew is like the balance.
Gotcha. He's
of the Synoptic Gospels. I mean, and Synoptic just points to the fact that they're overlapping. Like they have all the same stories in them overlapping, which gives once again more legitimacy to the accuracy and the works of Jesus. Like they all share stories, and some people are like, well, one book he's fed 4,000, the other book both true. He fed two different crowds, you know, like there's a lot of just information in them. But like I said, Matthew is the most well-rounded. It gives you the heart of Jesus a little bit, not as much as John, obviously. John kind of stands alone in like getting into the heart of who Jesus is. But Matthew, I feel like, does express the heart of Jesus as well. But also gets into his teachings, especially when you get into the Sermon on the Mount. That's Matthew 5-7, like where you're getting like Jesus' big message. And what modern theologians believe is like that was like his like keynote speech, like the big message. He probably did a lot, but they documented this one of him going up onto the mount. Now this is like obviously theological speculation, but it would suggest that Jesus was giving this very well-rounded message, and this is what it's all about, where we get the idea of what people call the upside down kingdom. Like Jesus is saying, you know, the world says this, but this is what God says. And so that's what I mean. So you get so much richness from the Gospel of Matthew. If you're asking about like who Matthew is,
tell us about the person of Matthew.
All we really know about Matthew, like, and you have to be cautious with, because like there's so much of the chosen out there now. We don't know if that really is Matthew, like how Matthew's, you know, his characteristics and his demeanor, or
yes, those shows kind of give personality to people that we don't necessarily know that. You know what I mean? That's just some. I'm guessing in some.
He could have been like that, but we have no idea. All we know is that he was a Jewish tax collector. And what we know about, so Jewish tax collectors were the most hated and looked down upon individuals in their society because they were basically people that have chosen money and power over their shared heritage with people. Like they were essentially working for the Roman government, somewhat protected. It was very lucrative, but in some ways we're just robbing people blindly, because what tax collectors were really known for at that time too were like they would take above and beyond what was actually owed to put a little bit more in their pockets, and like they're the guys that protected them's pockets as well. So they were loathed in society, absolutely hated, but they were also incredibly intelligent. Like tax collectors weren't like like the dunce caps of the of their society, incredibly intelligent people, because like they had to keep accurate books. Like they had a lot of responsibility when it came to the Roman government. They had to be trusted, so they had to have like great knowledge of it. At the same time, is like they turned their backs on everyone that they ever knew to do that for what? Money. And then they lived very lonely lives because they were so hated. But Matthew's called by Jesus. We see Matthew being called by Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew. He becomes one of the 12 apostles. That means he's one of the 12 apprentices of Jesus. That means Jesus' closest disciples. Jesus had tons of disciples, but the 12 are like his closest disciples. And the only book that we know that he wrote is the book of Matthew. Could he have written Hebrews? Maybe. Just keep adding them to the list.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, he was an eyewitness to all of it. So, I mean, is there anything interesting tidbits you have about Matthew before we?
Not so much Matthew. Back to Hebrews, though. Because I don't necessarily think it was somebody like firsthand, right? They kind of speak as if they're learning the information second.
Yes.
So that would make me not think Matthew. So
I was joking. Totally joking.
But the more I think about that, I'm like, maybe it's not any of the obvious people. Maybe it is somebody who. Anyway, so
yeah, if you want to go back to that one.
Nope. I was just throwing that in there.
Yeah, because it said like Hebrews 2:3 says this. Real quick. How shall we escape if we neglect such a great salvation? It was declared at first by the Lord and was attested to by those who heard. Meaning that like this is a secondhand witness to Hebrews. Yeah. So not Paul, not because Paul was, even though he was not with Jesus in the flesh, he was still called by Jesus on the road to Damascus.
Right. Exactly. So he had a first-hand encounter.
And that's why he's considered an apostle.
Right. And same with Matthew, first-hand encounter. So it's not these guys. It's somebody less obvious. Yeah.
It'd have to be like an Apollos, essentially. Yeah. If Apollos truly was not present for the teachings of Jesus directly. Who knows? The mysteries of the Bible. When we get to heaven, like, let's face facts. Like, everybody's like, when I get to heaven, I'm going to ask this. We're going to be like so like relieved that we don't have the worries of this world anymore.
Yeah.
We're just like, we're not going to care at that point, I don't think. Maybe. I have no idea.
I also think too, like, I don't know. I think when we're in the presence of God, just based on the few encounters that, humans in the Bible had in the presence of God, I don't think we're going to have any questions. I think we are going to be like fully like just
in awe,
on our knees. Like we have nothing to say. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
I agree.
So, yeah. Anyway, so moving on.
Oh man. The next question. Very honest question.
Yes.
But
honestly, I kind of love this question because it tells you where they're at.
I'll ask you and you tell me.
Okay. Go for
Sarah,
it.
who wrote the Bible?
Okay.
And did he experience the events? Okay,
so 2-part question. Who wrote the Bible? Well, the entire Bible is inspired by God. So I will say it's like it's we call it God's word because God inspired the writings of the Bible.
Yes.
But there was not one author. This was many authors.
Yeah, not one human author.
66 different books. So So when the question is asked, and did he, that's assuming there was an author, like a person that wrote the Bible. And that's not the case. This was many authors over a huge span of time, like thousands of years.
Yeah.
So, but all inspired by God. You know what I mean? So there's not one author except that it is God's word. So
Yeah, the Holy Spirit gave to each author what was needed for what they were writing.
yes.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, like, I think starting off with the Pentateuch, or like the first 5 books of the Bible. That's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That's always the one, because it's like the Genesis account. It's like, how did that person write that?
Right? Yes.
So it's largely attributed to Moses, that Moses wrote Genesis. Here's the thing, and like you find this out in Exodus. Moses had the closest relationship with God of anybody. Like anybody in the Old Testament. Like everybody, like there are plenty of key figures that have very close relationships with God. But like Moses went into the presence of God like so many times. I mean, and I think in Exodus it talks about him coming down and he's like glowing.
Face, like shown.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like glowing because he was like in the presence of God.
Yeah.
You know, for a time. So I think God gave him like the story of creation and everything for him to write. Because obviously Moses was not there at creation. No one was there at creation until the 6th day, right? Like whatever that looked like in true history, like how those days actually went, whether they were literal or figurative. Like Moses was given this all to write and record. So like Abraham didn't write any of this. So none of the characters in Genesis wrote down any of this. So some of it would have been oral tradition, but ultimately given to Moses by God to give to the people. And the same thing. So Moses then goes to write the story of the Exodus and like of his people. Then Leviticus and Numbers, eventually Deuteronomy. We don't know necessarily. Do we know who specifically finished out Deuteronomy?
No, because I don't know that it says who finished it, but somebody else finished it because it speaks of the death of Moses.
Yeah,
so it couldn't have been him.
Moses did not complete the book of Deuteronomy. Could have been Joshua, maybe. Who knows? Like Joshua did take over leading Israel for Moses. So there's potential. But yeah, so a lot of that's kind of a mystery. All we know is that God gave them the words to record. And that's why, like, we tell you, it's like this information has stood the test of time and has never been refuted. And I mean, and when it's been attempted to be like torn apart and like break it down and be like, "God, this can't be true," no one's been able to come up with any evidence of the contrary. It's like, well, it just can't be. Like, well, unless you have evidence to the contrary, then you cannot say that this is not accurate. It's a real, like I said, like I think you've already gotten the impression from what we've been saying. It's like the Bible is truly miraculous in so many ways, and how it's stood the test of time, and how it's been just like, you know, kind of been tried to be torn down and taken away from and everything, and it still cannot be removed. Like as long as it's been present in this world, it's just such an incredible thing. So yeah, tons of different authors, over 40 authors. In the entirety of the Bible. I mean, like the book of Psalms is not written by one individual. There's so many different, and a lot of times at the beginning of each Psalm, it'll tell you like, this is a song of something by this person, for the choir master or whatever. You know, every book has its own, like, you know, like tone. And that's what's really incredible too, is like all the different perspectives, same God. Really cool thing.
Well, and like the second half of that question, did he experience the events? And I think we covered it was not a he, it was multiple people. But sometimes, yes, sometimes these are like firsthand, you know, the author is telling you what they went through.
Yes.
And then sometimes it's somebody else kind of recounting the events. So you have both. And like you said, multiple perspectives, all kind of saying the same thing, all weaving through the story of how God loves his creation. He's redeeming us. So and he sent a savior to do that. So it all ties together, but it's multifaceted.
I would say just going off what you just said, much more people experiencing it than not experiencing it. Because I think that's always the thing. It's like, did these people even like, were they present to a lot of these things that they wrote about? The majority were. There are some that like just are recorded. Like I said, Genesis is probably the most obvious answer because of how ancient some of those stories are. Because I mean, Genesis spans centuries, I think.
Yeah.
And so you can't get the full. Like no one recorded that over those little bits of time. It's not like it's a collection of small writings. It's one author, which is on like, you know, God first and foremost, but then more than likely Moses recorded it all. So good. I love it. Good question.
Yes. Great question.
And, this is stuff that I like. We really enjoy. This is what we obviously spend a lot of time listening to podcasts. That's why our listening age is 72 and 80.
Yes.
So next question.
All right. What's the best book for a Bible study?
All of them.
Every book.
Every book. Every day. No, I would say that I'll give you the default answer first. You always gotta go to John. If you're just starting into the Bible, John. Do John. Like read it a couple times. Like get to know the heart of Jesus. I love like, and like we always talk about, like James. The New Testament is where you really should be focusing the most in your young faith, like to grow in your understanding of what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ, and then go into the Old Testament and do studies. But I would say I love John always. Matthew, Mark, Luke, do studies on those. James, brother of Jesus, amazing book to study.
It's a short one, but a rich one. So I like James too. We did a Bible study a couple times, I think, on James. We used to split sometimes and do like girl studies and guy studies, and we did a girl study on James before too. I think we did one over Zoom.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Remember that?
In the dark ages.
Yeah. We did one on Ephesians. So good. Again, short book, lots of good, rich information.
Yep.
If you ever are looking for a Bible study or need Bible study recommendations, like a study to go along with that book of the Bible, we have lots because we've done lots.
We've done a lot. All of them.
Yeah.
We've done almost all of them.
I mean, I've done like women's Bible studies and we've done the teen ones. And so we have lots of resources. So if you're ever like, oh, what do you have on whatever book you want to study? I'm sure we have something. So just come ask us.
We used to do this Friday night, like it was Friday night or Saturday night Bible studies, like years back. I miss doing that.
That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we bring that back at some point.
Maybe. Tell us if you want that to come back.
Yeah. If you listen to this and you want to do that, tell us.
Yes.
And we'll give you a candy too, because we know you're listening. But other ones that I really enjoy, like Philippians, another short one, 4 chapters, powerful. Romans,
awesome. Yeah, longer, a lot of information.
Yeah, it's much longer, and it gets a little hairy in the middle.
It gets hairy.
What I mean by is it can get confusing to somebody because it like when you get to like chapter 8, chapter 8 is like huge in Romans, and then 9, 10, and 11 are like, where's he going? And then he pulls it all together in 12.
Yeah.
But 9, 10, and 11 can be confused. I mean, I've done men's Bible studies, and we get to 9, 10, and 11. They're like, what is this part? I'm like, it comes together. It comes together, but it gets a little confusing. So just know that with Romans. I wouldn't say start off with Revelation, but I think we made that apparent a little bit ago.
Yeah. I wouldn't start with it, but I would eventually get to it. It is very interesting, a little confusing, but fascinating, and you can learn a lot.
That's the one not to study. I would say study that under the tutelage of someone that understands it.
Yes, I think we said that before. Be careful just Googling things and just using online resources.
AI, whatever.
Make sure you are using reputable resources. And when you have questions, you are going to people with solid biblical understanding.
Yeah, like me and Sarah. Or Sarah and I.
Yeah, Luke's going to correct you on that.
Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever. All right. We're getting close.
All right. Let's see. A couple more questions in this section. All right. These are the last two. So, next question is, what is a good book of the Bible to read when stressed?
Good question.
That's a great question.
I would say my go-to when I am stressed is Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing is, like, the Bible app, I feel like you're feeling stressed. Like, it gives you options on like, what's your mood right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm stressed. It'll give you Psalms to read. And then don't just like cherry pick verses out of it. Read the whole thing. Like, if it gives you like Psalm 119 to read all of Psalm 119. Like, there's richness in the full context of anything you read. I mean, one of the things I remember, my old boss at Wheatland Tube, he posted up on my desk because I was really struggling with anxiety really bad. So when I worked at Wheatland Tube, my boss posted this up on my desk. 1 Peter 5:7.
It says, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you.
It's just a reminder that God is always thinking of you and cares about you and desires for you to come through whatever you're going through. Like, you give him your worries and he frees you of the concerns, right? Same thing with Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Probably one of the most gone to passages in the entire Bible. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So, I mean, the Bible's full of things like, hey, when I'm stressed, when I'm worried, when I'm like just struggling, it gives us over and over and over again. Jesus also teaches about it in Matthew, in the Sermon on the Mount, like dealing with worry and anxiety in chapter 6 and 7. So lots of places you can go when you're stressed. But the Psalms are so... when I do a funeral, a lot of what I read is out of Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Psalm 23 obviously is the first one that comes to mind. But did you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing, that Psalms are a good example of casting your cares on him, because a lot of it is the writer is truly lamenting whatever is on their heart, and so they are giving it over to God, whether it be David or whoever's writing it. Is a lot of them are, you can feel their pain in their writing, but ultimately what they're saying is, and ultimately, God, you are higher, you are greater,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to take care of this. So it's not just like, oh, I don't need to worry about anything because God has it. It's take your worries to God. Let him know what's bothering you. Like, tell him. And I think that's what Psalms shows us, is that example of you can take that to God. He's big enough to handle it. He knows what you're going through. He wants that relationship with you, though, where you're telling him and you're relying on him. So give it to him. Give it over to him. Feel free to cry out to the Lord. That's what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel like you have to bottle it all up or hold it in or think you have to handle it on your own. We are meant to give our cares over to him, and then let him handle it.
Yep.
You can't just give it over and then take it right back.
Yep. It's tough.
Yes, you need to give it over and set it at his feet and let him handle it.
Yeah, saying like, I know this is not over, but like, I trust you with it. Yeah. And honestly, the next question goes right along with this, because the next question is, what verse should I read when I'm worried?
Yes.
And I'll read a couple verses to you. Matthew 6:34 says, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Meaning, don't worry about what's coming. Just focus on what's right in your present.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take care of what you have presently in front of you, and don't worry about the next day, which is tough for a lot of people because they're like, well, this is still going to come. It's like, yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. So
take care of what you need to take care of today. And when tomorrow comes, march right through that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what Jesus is saying is like, it's a step-by-step process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one little task at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. And like, that's how God guides us through these things. Like, you take on little bit by little bit, and it comes together. Is it always going to be perfect? No. there's going to be struggles. There's going to be painful outcomes sometimes.
Mhm.
But do everything you can with excellence in the moment, in the
Mhm.
day. Like, don't worry about stuff that hasn't happened yet. Worry about what you have right in front of you
Mhm.
presently.
Most of what we worry about too, we magnify in our minds, and it doesn't even end up coming to be in the manner that we assume. Like we tend to assume worst case scenario or fear worst case scenario, and it rarely ever actually goes that way.
Mhm.
And so we spend all this time and energy and effort and give of ourselves over to fear and worry when a lot of it's not even going to happen the way we imagine it's going to. And even if it does, spending that time worrying
Yep.
didn't do us any good.
Yep.
And it was a lot of times it is taking our focus from what is right in front of us right now.
Yep.
So yeah, it's giving it over to him, allowing him to hold it and take it, and you are just being obedient to him in the moment that day.
Mhm.
So hard to do. It's easy
Very
to
hard.
say, hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Biggest reminder, God always has you. No matter how big or how small the situations that you have going on in your life presently are, God has you.
Mhm.
Like, don't think for a second that he doesn't care. Don't think that he isn't going to see you through it to the very end. He absolutely will. Sometimes the challenges that we face are because sometimes it's brought on just by our present circumstances. Sometimes it's brought on by like our own choices. But no matter what we're facing, no matter how difficult it might be, no matter what the outcome might be, God loves you and he cares about you and he wants the best for you. Not just for your own personal glory, but so that it brings glory to his name as well. Like God has, like, you know, I don't know, God has skin in the game here. Like he wants the best for you, not just for you, but so that people will realize who he is and what he can do. Does that make sense?
It does.
So do all that you can to just set your eyes on him. And no matter how hard it gets, just trust that he's going to see you through it every step of the way. Ask him for wisdom. Ask him for guidance. Ask him for peace. Ask him for protection. And just step on through it. And sometimes it's going to be really difficult, especially if there's like consequences to your own actions. Like those are going to be some of the hardest things to step through when you have to like make peace with people that you've hurt, or, you know, trust bonds have been broken, whatever. You're worried about those things. Yeah, there's going to be challenges along the way, but God's not holding it over your head. He wants you to be freed from it. He wants perfect peace for you. So pray, ask, seek him, and don't fear anymore. That's it. Do you have anything to add? I'm sorry.
No, I think that's how we build our faith too. This is a continual process, and sometimes it is every day. When the fear creeps in, when the worry creeps in, we have to be intentional about giving it back over to him again and again. But that's what builds our faith, and it builds our trust in him as we continually learn to rely on him daily until it becomes natural for us. And then it's just something we do.
Well said. All right. Well, that's the end of this section of our Q&A series. We've made it through 3 sections of 12 sections. So be with us as we continue on throughout the rest of 25 into 26. We're excited to keep answering these questions. If you have more questions that come up, please ask us. Like write in, whatever. We'll be happy to answer them. This is going to be kind of the format for the foreseeable future. Exciting stuff for us.
We handled some big chunks of these sections were big ones. So some of the other ones are not quite this big.
No, some of the other sections are like 3 or 4 questions, but
but still, it's fun. Yeah, send us more.
This is what we love doing. So I hope you're enjoying it just as much as we are. I'm Steve.
I'm Sarah.
Thanks for joining us Beyond Sunday. We'll see you next time.